asking survey participants questions which might lead them to discuss harms they've experienced because of Meta's design. And when their suppression didn't work, they just simply deleted the evidence. They erased it so no one would know. In one user review, Meta's Horizon Worlds was dubbed, and I quote, "the pedophile kingdom," end quote. This makes clear what we have known for years, that Meta profits from the sexualization and abuse of children. If you need another example, look at the recent report that Meta's own internal guidelines allowed AI chatbots to engage in sensual conversations with children. Their refusal to protect children and to instead profit at the expense of kids' safety, this is revolting, it is heinous conduct. Again, I want to thank the two whistleblowers that are here with us today and the other whistleblowers who have come forward who are not here. I know that this was not an easy decision for either of you, but what you're doing brings us one step closer to holding these big tech platforms accountable. We have parents in the room today. Parents all across the nation are speaking out, and we thank you. And to Maureen, Brian, Mia, Christine, those parents that have lost their children to social media harms, we're grateful that you're here and grateful for your passion to make sure that no parent ever has to experience the trauma that you have experienced. With your help, we will get the Kids Online Safety Act passed, and we will get it to the President's desk, and we will hold big tech accountable. Now, I turn to Senator Klobuchar.
Well, thank you very much, Chair Blackburn, and thank you for your longtime leadership of this, as well as the very important bill that you and Senator Blumenthal have been proud to support it and be co-sponsor, are pushing through, and I've already passed the Senate once, so we're close. I have worked in this area for a long time myself, and have known the frustration of no matter what you seem to do, you get lobbied against and millions of dollars against you. And I just think we're reaching a moment where the time is up, and there are too many families and too many parents that are affected by this. I want to thank our two whistleblowers that are here. I'm sure you never in your wildest dreams imagined that you were going to be in front of a Senate panel in this way, but I want to thank you for doing the right thing. For too long, these companies have worked to attract kids to their platforms. They do so knowing that their platforms use algorithms that increase the risk of sexual exploitation, push harmful content, facilitate bullying, and provide venues, sadly, for dealers to sell deadly drugs like fentanyl. Meta cannot continue to turn a blind eye to these harms. It was in this very room with this very committee, maybe it was in a different room, but the same committee, where Mark Zuckerberg actually turned to some families who had lost children to drugs, who said, I'm sorry this happened. Well, sorry is not enough anymore, and we need to put in some rules of the road to stop this from happening. This is not the first time whistleblowers from Meta have come forward. In 2021, another whistleblower, Frances Haugen, testified that Meta knew that its products took a significant psychological toll on users. In that case, it was eating disorders. That testimony should have been a wake-up call for Meta, a chance to right the ship. Meta did make changes after her testimony, but not to protect kids. Instead, the company took steps to establish plausible deniability. Meta blocked, manipulated, hid, and deleted research that showed that its virtual reality products were frequently used by underage kids who were exposed to real and significant harm. I want to underscore that the entire appeal of the metaverse is that it's supposed to feel like real life. And that can be fun. It's communication, it's entertainment, there's bells and whistles. But the problem is that the virtual reality platform as it has been created, also allows adults to form relationships with unwitting children that can be exploited. As the Washington Post pointed out in their lengthy investigative piece yesterday, a 25-year-old man was convicted of kidnapping a 13-year-old after interacting with her through Meta's virtual reality products. Despite this, Meta forged ahead, pushing new features to attract younger users and allowing younger and younger kids onto its virtual reality platforms without safety testing. One employee from Meta estimated that more than 80% of users were underage in one of the virtual rooms. Adult users frequently complained virtual reality spaces were overrun by children. I don't know what else you need to hear to know there's a problem. Gleaning their presence by the sound of their voices. Yet Meta, using the codename Project Salsa, because allegedly they knew it would be a spicy topic, moved to lower the official age minimum for its virtual reality headsets from 13 to 10. In Meta's ongoing tradition of moving fast and breaking things, it broke its repeated promise to parents and Congress to protect kids on their platforms. That's why a bipartisan coalition of 42 state attorney generals with wildly different political views on a number of things decided to take this on. And that included my attorney general in Minnesota, Keith Ellison. But Meta has continued to prioritize user engagement. It does that because the more time people, no matter how young, spend on their platforms, the more money it makes. We know the profits on kids' data. According to a recent study, social media platforms generated $11 billion in revenue in 2022 from advertising directed at kids and teens, including nearly $2 billion in ad profits derived from users aged 12 and under. And while today's whistleblowers left the company before its current push to catch up in the generative AI space race, their testimony raises serious questions about whether Meta is ignoring child safety issues related to AI products, especially in light of the recent reports that Meta allowed its chatbots to engage children in, to quote internal documents, romantic or sensual conversations. That's why we must come together, Democrats, Republicans, to set up common sense rules. We have worked on both the Judiciary and Commerce committees to do this. Senator Cruz and I basically, through a lot of hard work over many years, passed our Take It Down Act when the president signed it into law that would hold platforms accountable for taking down pornographic images of kids or adults that are either the actual images or AI created within 48 hours. We must pass Senator Blackburn and Blumenthal's Kids Online Safety Act to ensure that platforms design their products to prevent and mitigate harm to kids. We also know that other industries do not enjoy this similar level of protection. If they have an appliance that blows up, or they have a tire that blows up on the road, there's accountability. They get sued, and that's a major incentive to fix it. We don't have that with these social media platforms, and that is why I have long supported repealing Section 230, which was basically set up while these were little companies in the garage. That's not true anymore. They're the biggest companies the world has ever known. To end with this, one parent once told me that her trying to get her young kids, 6 and 8, off of these platforms, she'd have to resort to relying on her 12-year-old, 15-year-old to try to get it down. They couldn't figure out how to do it. They'd find another platform. It's just endless, despite all her best efforts to be a mom. She said it was like a sink overflowing with a faucet she couldn't turn off, and she was just sitting out there with a mop. These parents need more than mops. They need us to pass this bill. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Senator Grassley, you're recognized.
And like Senator Klobuchar said, I want to compliment you on your leadership. Ever since you've been in the Senate, you've been fighting to protect children from social media abuse. During my time in the Senate, I've always fought for whistleblowers, both in the government as well as in the private sector. I've offered updates to the False Claims Act, the IRS whistleblower program, and other whistleblower laws. And just this year, I've helped almost 20 government whistleblowers get their jobs back. Whistleblowers are key to rooting out fraud, waste, and abuse. That includes the private sector, not just the government. On September 13th, 2022, ranking member of the Judiciary Committee and I, along with Senator Durbin, held a hearing on these very issues. A Twitter whistleblower at that time testified that disclosing to this committee that Twitter potentially exposed user data to foreign intelligence agencies, including the government of China. His disclosures made public that the FBI notified Twitter of at least one Chinese government agent at the company. This month, I, along with Senators Blackburn and Hawley, sent a letter to Meta about the company's use of targeted ads against teenagers. Our letter highlighted concerns that Meta's potentially violating the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. It's been alleged that Meta collected personal information from children under 13 years of age without parental consent. My oversight has also shown that these tech companies look to silence whistleblowers. Last year, I wrote to OpenAI about my concerns that they tried to silence whistleblowers, and I raised the same concerns this year with Meta. To address this, I've introduced bipartisan legislation to implement whistleblower protections in the artificial intelligence industry. Now it's been alleged that another Meta whistleblower, Jason Satishon, has suffered retaliation. For example, in March of 2023, he received a performance review stating he, quote, exceeds expectation, end of quote. Then in October 2023, he raised concerns to his leadership that Meta had been violating the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. So what did Meta do? After spending 6 years at Meta with promotions and positive performance, they fired him 6 months after his disclosure. Ms. Savage also raised concerns about Meta's compliance with the law. Instead of addressing her concerns, Meta's lawyers reportedly told Ms. Savage to make sure that her work did not put the company, quote unquote, at risk. I often say that whistleblowers are treated like skunks at a picnic. It appears our witnesses, as well as other whistleblowers who've approached me, have unfortunately been treated like those skunks. Last year, we've been working on this for a long time, I should say, not just last year. So I thank you folks for your courage and bravery in coming forward to Congress. I and my colleagues will continue our investigations.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Blumenthal.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I want to begin by thanking you, Senator Blackburn, for holding this hearing, but even more important, for your extraordinarily dedicated, tireless, relentless work on the Kids Online Safety Act, which has been, for me, the opportunity of a lifetime to champion. And I have come to know some of the bravest, strongest people who are with us today.